Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Veritas Live. I'm your host, Anthony Cusimano, and today we are so excited to be talking about our Conquer Every Cloud event that happened just last week. If you missed it, that's okay. We're going to give you all of the highlights today, and joining me to do that is my favorite teammate and today's co-host, Sonya Duffin. Thanks for being here, Sonya.
Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here.
Always happy to have you here. Now, like I said before, we had this amazing Conquer Every Cloud event last week. So many awesome moments, but I'm curious, Sonya, what were some of your favorites?
Oh man, there were so many. Our host, Simu Leo, was fantastic. So I feel like we should just start with the fun stuff. And his stuff was the fun stuff. We got him to dance. I can't believe that. Did you have to dance as part of your audition? Because I would have loved to have seen a dance off between the two of you.
You know, I did this number. I was going like uptown around the clown,
yes,
spin them around. But apparently they were not for it. But I was able to pass the technical audition as part of the show, as being able to talk about some of our technology. So that was my only saving grace.
Well, that's great. You know, we also did a cheer. You know what? We should just watch the clip. It's great.
Let's do it.
You know, I actually had to do a little demo of my own to land this gig. Came out pretty good. Let's take a look. Hey, Simu Liu auditioning for the role of director of IT.
It's IT.
Oh, is it IT? Sorry. What is that? As we can see, there's a lot of activity in the cloud that needs to be conquered. We have some heavy downtime rolling in from the Northeast and an unstable SaaS front moving in just in time to ruin holiday travel plans. Guys, the entire cloud continuum will vaporize in 10 minutes if we do not win this dance-off competition. Let's do this. Don't you get it? It's simple. All we need to do is utilize predictive analytics to reconfigure the AI-powered paradigm. Give me an I. Give me a T. What's that spell? It.
Sorry to interrupt, Simu, but, well, this being a one-hour event and all, perhaps we should move things along.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, I was getting a little carried away in my own personal journey to the cloud.
That was great. And I actually really enjoyed the dance he did. My favorite part was actually the quiz show that we got to put on. And fun fact, my parents, who know nothing about technology or what we do here, were watching the entire thing and managed to get a perfect score. I'm curious to see how our audience does. Let's take a look at the clip.
Yeah.
Simu, I'm impressed with your dedication to this role. Like most hosts would...
Not a host, hero.
Sorry, my bad. So let's get right into testing your newfound knowledge then, shall we? All right, question 1. What is the appropriate level of trust when it comes to proactive security? Is it A, some trust, B, whole lot of trust, C, zero trust, or D, antitrust?
Okay. I'm gonna trust my instinct by not trusting my instinct and go with the answer that feels the most untrustworthy, which would be C.
Well, that's correct.
Yes.
Let's try question 2. What is the future vision for cloud data management at Veritas?
We left you in suspense there on purpose. You're going to have to watch the video to find out if Simu gets the rest of the questions right and if you get the questions right. It's so fun to have a little laughter with data protection humor. I really enjoyed that one too. Thanks for sharing. You know, I was really impressed that you said your parents got the question about zero trust right. That's impressive.
It was. I couldn't believe it either, but now there's zero trust experts.
Right. Well, you know, I would say my favorite part was the section we talked about our ever-growing support for Kubernetes. And I know that's something that's near and dear to your heart too.
Yeah, it is. And just as a guy who spent his first part of my career kind of growing up in tech, I got to see Kubernetes come onto the scene. We went from Docker to Kubernetes. It's a passion of mine, and it's a true love when it comes to technology. But it's also something that we have been delivering on from a Veritas Technologies perspective for quite some time. So starting with NetBackup 9, we had our first major support for Kubernetes data protection. And then in this release, NetBackup 10, well, we've added a bevy of features. And rather than me tell it now, let's just take a look at the clip.
Yeah.
And for those on the cutting edge, We've also added even more Kubernetes support. Now, Kubernetes admins can rest easy, knowing their application namespaces are protected and recoverable from any distribution to any distribution, including cloud platforms, OpenShift, Rancher, and Tanzu, just to name a few. That means dev teams can go as fast as they want without adding any additional risk to the business. In 2021, we saw the first ransomware attack from within a container via Siloscape. It's time to start taking Kubernetes protection more seriously.
You know, what you said right there is so important. Siloscape was big news last year because there's a lot of misconceptions around whether or not data is safe in containers. And guess what? Nothing is safe anymore. Ransomware is an equal opportunity offender, and it's going to take old technologies, new technologies, and especially it's extra concerning right now because there's so many misconceptions, especially when you get to the cloud.
It is. And I think there's this misconception that because the cloud is so simple, it's so easy, it's swipe of a credit card, and we're able to spin up and deploy assets, that security is just as simple. And, you know, we talked about this on previous episodes of Veritas Live, where it is not, it's just a swipe of a credit card, I'm secure. In fact, when you deploy assets in the cloud, they're completely locked down. Nothing is turned on because they want the security to fall on the user's end. So just having cloud snapshot backups sitting around in the cloud is probably not enough. If you get hacked or if you have their network outage or God forbid the cloud goes down, it's just not enough redundancy to really keep you in the right place.
Right. If anything, you're more vulnerable in the cloud. You know, you had a great conversation about this with Doug Matthews, our VP of Product Management. Let's see the clip and learn more.
Ransomware is no respecter of clouds, meaning customers are just as much at risk of dealing with a ransomware attack in the cloud as they are with any other infrastructure.
No doubt. And in the last few years, we saw ransomware go from something we had to help our parents avoid in their email to a business-destroying digital pandemic.
Resiliency has never been a higher priority for businesses than it is today. And the expectation is all data must be protected and recoverable to be truly resilient, even in the face of a ransomware attack. In the journey to conquer every cloud, there is no greater threat than that of compromised data, downtime due to lockouts, and the ultimate loss of control that ransomware reaps on an organization.
It just blows my mind how quickly these cybersecurity threats are growing exponentially. It's kind of like what you were saying. The cloud is such a huge target. It's no surprise it's happening.
Right, absolutely. You know that the game of ransomware has completely changed. Ransomware as a service has grown exponentially, and it is now a highly profitable business. So nothing is safe. They're getting more creative. They're going after more, especially new and innovative technologies, and the places where they feel like you're most vulnerable, which right now is the cloud. It's really an important discussion.
It is. And, you know, it's funny when I think about ransomware and just cybersecurity in general. 10 years ago, it was something, speaking of my parents, you know, there was something they had to worry about showing up in their email, like a phishing scam or something like that. And I was like, don't open that, don't download that link. But it's become such a malicious force for companies. And now, you know, just looking at the time and day and age we're in, cybersecurity threats are being used as political weapons. And we have to all be careful as individuals and as businesses to ensure that we're doing our part to make sure we're staying secure. That actually leads to one of the really cool things we announced and talked about during this event, which we had an amazing demo put on by our fellow Floridian friend, Luigi Curavilla. He walked through our anomaly detection and malware scanning functionality that we upgraded, improved, and released inside of NetBackup 10. He did an amazing job walking us through this demo. When you watch the CEC event yourself, be sure to check out the chapter selection functionality and go to that part, because it is a demo you're not going to want to miss, especially if you haven't thought about how you can catch these kind of things in your backup ecosystem.
Yeah, this is really exciting. We launched both automated and on-demand malware scanning, which is really important for our customers. Why? Because that means that gives you a really strong upper hand. What's happening right now is cyber criminals are getting into systems and they're laying dormant. They're doing cyber reconnaissance. And what that means is they're checking out your systems and they're learning it sometimes even better than you do. They want to find your vulnerabilities. They want to find the best time to make the biggest impact, which means that if you have ways to give yourself an upper hand and be able to take action before they do, that's really powerful stuff. What's also exciting is that it enables you to do a malware scan before you recover, so that you make sure that the data you put back after you go through all your recovery efforts is clean, and that's vital. So the last thing you want to do is go through all of that and then put it right back in place.
Absolutely. No, it would be horrible. And we do such an awesome job of giving our customers the ability to isolate those files or potentially malicious instances in their infrastructure when they come time to recover. And that is also true for cloud as well. We've added some amazing features that come for granular recovery in AWS and Azure. And when you want to restore, obviously you have your choice of restoring entire pieces of infrastructure or just those individual files, but you'd never want to restore the thing that's maliciously locking you down and holding you hostage. So you definitely have your options when it comes to cloud recovery, especially with all of the features added in NetBackup 10. And speaking of cloud, I also want to call out, we had a great section during the show where we got to talk to our Amazon Web Services experts as well as our Microsoft Azure expert. We had one of each come on and tell us about how our partnership, that's Veritas, with these two vendors has improved and grown with this latest release. It's definitely something you want to check out if you're in one or both of these ecosystems.
Absolutely. You know, I would have to say, Anthony, my favorite part is our section on sustainability, because I can tell you're very passionate about it and you got very enthusiastic as you were sharing.
Oh, yes. And I know, Sonia, we've talked offline about how much we care about sustainability as a topic. And I know it's near and dear to both of our hearts.
Yes.
So I guess let's just take a look at the clip then.
Yeah, we got to watch it.
Alongside our efforts to make everything we do more efficient and cost-effective, yields another beneficial outcome, one that is very close to my own heart: being better stewards of the planet. While us techies like to think that we did our part in reducing energy consumption by eliminating the local data center, we just moved that consumption to someone else's computer. A whole lot of them, actually. Alongside predictive cost reduction, our efforts to ensure that our apps and services continue to utilize less resources and behave more optimally helps to keep our environmental impact low. And that's something I am genuinely proud of.
Anthony, I'm so glad you said that. And I'm so glad you shared that. I am passionate about that too. It's awesome.
Yes. And those are definitely both of our favorite parts. But there was so much that we packed in to that hour that I don't think you or I could go through it all on this live stream here. But you know, it's funny, our executive vice president of worldwide field operations, Brian Hamill, in his opening keynote, did such a good job setting the outline and setting the stage for all the pieces we were going to talk about. I think it's actually a really great overview, just in case we miss something.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
He did a really nice job of summarizing everything we talked about and launched.
He definitely did. So let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
We've been busy building the foundation for a cloud-optimized autonomous data management world. Let me share a few examples. First, in 2021, we launched NetBackup SaaS Protection, a solution designed to deliver highly scalable SaaS data protection as a service to our enterprise customers. Secondly, we recently introduced our new Recovery Vault solution, a cloud-based data protection storage service that provides a seamless, cost-effective secondary storage option for NetBackup users that offers an air-gap capability for ransomware protection. Third, we released native Kubernetes support for NetBackup to provide secure and resilient Kubernetes protection for all major clouds. Fourth, we delivered industry-leading immutable storage in the cloud to provide ransomware resiliency. And finally, we're doubling down on our key cloud partnerships, including strategic collaboration with Microsoft to jointly develop next-generation solutions that provide market-leading cloud scalable and cyber-resilient solutions.
See, I told you he'd do a better job than we could. And I think that just about covers it. So, Sonia, thank you for joining me today and helping walk through some of your and my favorite parts of this event.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It was. Now, you can check out everything we've talked about here and the two demos we only talked about one, but there was a second demo as well. So we had our first demo with Luigi Curavilla talking about the malware detection and anomaly scanning. Definitely check that out. And we also have a second demo by Rachel Zhu talking all about how we do cloud scale data lifecycle management. They are phenomenal. And if you want to get a first person look at our product, it's the best way to do it. So be sure to check those out. Like I mentioned before, when you're in the event platform, you can use chapters to move around. I recommend watching it in its entirety. You are not going to regret it. It is jam-packed with information. But that's it for today's episode. And I would like to thank all of you for joining us today and to remind you that we will be back in 3 weeks with our next topic for Veritas Live. We hope to see you there. Have a great one.